We have so many stories in our lives, but our stories are not always heard. On the Hear My True Story podcast, we tell our own true stories.
Before the white car backed, our head teacher had scattered. Looking at him, I could only see his tie that was flying backwards, waving at us, and he disappeared in thin air.
I want to share my life story. I want to share my voice with the people because I know that just a small joke I can tell through this podcast, it will make someone smile.
When you ask me what I fear most in life, I would definitely respond to you and say it's fear itself.
We are fighting for togetherness. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting to end injustice.
You don't have to be a storyteller or writer because, guess what? Life writes the best stories.
Hear my true story.
Our dear listeners, I'm so happy today to let you know that we have Oggie. He's going to introduce himself, but we have had Oggie on this podcast more than once, and you have shared stories. But today is quite a very nice day. We are going to talk about so many things. I know Oggie is a musician, and we hope to hear so much on our podcast about Oggie. So, Oggie, you are welcome on Hear My True Story podcast. We are excited to have you today.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm honored to be here. And yes, my name is Oggie, and I'm from the band Raising Fire. I'm the leader, and yes, I'm blessed to be invited from a person like Otako.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oggie. One time I attended one of your concerts before coronavirus came, and you know what? I liked the reggae music from the Raising Fire Reggae Band. It is found in Marburg, that is in central Germany, in Hessen. Yeah, if I'm saying right.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's one of the few bands in Marburg that are comprised of people from different cultural backgrounds, African people, white people, people from the Arabic side, people around the world. And I find that so beautiful because it's quite unique. It is the only band that I've seen in Marburg that is it is full of this organic cultural integration.
Thank you so much for this compliment. Yeah. Yes, as a musician, we are not limited with whom we are working with. So I love the colors that I have in the group. Mm-hmm. The mixture of having white people, black people together. And this is the message what we are carrying out there, So the message is clear to say it doesn't matter where you come from, whether you are white, you are black, Indian, we are all one. Yeah. Togetherness is what we are talking about. So that's why I always enjoy to see the diversity of the band and Raising Fire.
Wow, that's so nice. When you talk about diversity, and then I understand that, wow, this is the music that you'd like to listen to. So our listeners, if you have not listened to the music of Raising Fire Reggae Band from Marburg, then you should really look for it on all platforms. But today, I would like to ask you, let's hear your true story. How did you get to starting a band in Marburg, in Germany, and you're an African coming from Zambia, if I'm not wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, you can tell us your true story.
Oh man, this is a good question. We are coming from far. It's a long journey. Yes, and it's still a long journey, So the question how I started doing music is really a long story. And when did I start doing music? I started in 2007. I didn't know anything about music, But then all of a sudden, this guy came, a Kenyan guy called Geoffrey Kimani, and him is a musician. He lived in Germany for some couple of years here, and he's the one who introduced me to music for the first time. I think I was 15 years old, and he was having a band here in Marburg. The band was called Afrofusion, and we used to do the name itself. It says Afrofusion, so African stuff, a mixture of reggae and all African, spices all together. So I sang in his band for 2 years. I was doing back vocals, and which was really good. And he invested much time in training me how to sing, how to deal with my voice, and how to change my voices to sing, to not only sing one voice, to sing 2 or 3 voices. So he was my teacher, actually. Yes. And but after he finished his studies here, he studied sound engineering. Then he went back to Kenya for good. So after some couple of years being with the band Afrofusion, the band splitted. And then because I wanted to continue doing music, it was an opportunity for me to start forming my own band. So then in 2010, I started forming my own band.
Wow. So that is your story.
This is where my story now is starting up until now, where we are with Raising Fire.
Raising Fire.
Yes.
So just ask about why really do you choose music itself and not to choose any other form of performing art? Maybe you would have chose storytelling. Maybe you would have chose painting, visual arts. Why did you choose music, and why did you choose reggae?
The first question why I chose to play music, music is my identity, because I come from a family where music is very known, from a musical family, So whether you try to deny it, some days it will come. It will come out. So it's like, it's music in our family, it's something that you can't hide, So I'm not surprised that I started doing music, because I'm grown up with music. So for me, it's normal to be on stage, but still, to have the chance to stand on stage, you have first of all to realize that I have music in me. So when I started doing music, you will not believe, I started with kind of rock music. I formed the band in 2010 with my sisters Tamara Lauer and Latricia Lauer. But firstly, I did rock music with my friends. After school, we would meet somewhere in a house, and then we start playing rock music. But because I was rock music was not really my music, I was failing to play rock music. So this is where I was like, I'm not in a right position of playing this music. So what I did, I quit playing rock music. I was the lead singer also in rock music. But you can imagine how I was struggling to play those power chords in rock music. And then all of a sudden I was like, this music is not something that I feel. And then I stopped doing it, and then the band split it again. And then I was like, now I have to do something else. The music I'm grown up with. And I started doing reggae music. And that was the best choice I could have, or I could do, And I took that route, and I started rehearsing at home, just playing for myself in the basement, in the house. And then after some couple of months, I invited my sisters to join me. They joined me, they could back up into some songs. And I was like, this is good, this sounds good, And then now I started to to reach out to people who are interested to do reggae music. So, and then, and then I met this guy, who introduced himself to be a drummer. And then, the bass player came, and I was like, now I want to go. This is the way I want to go. I want to try to do African stuff, And then they were like, oh, okay, we can try to do it. And then we started like a school band, So again, after school, we would meet, and then we play some stuff, and I sing. And and then in 2009, we had an opportunity to be invited to perform in Marburg. There is a festival in Marburg in March. They call it Manofest. So this guy, the organizer, saw us playing, and he was like, oh, you guys, I would love to invite you to play on one of our events. And we were like, yes, sure, why not? And then we did the session there, and it felt good, and I remember how I could not manage to look in the audience.
So
I was so shy, to look into the eyes of the people in the audience. So yes, how then all started.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this
welcome.
Detailed, personal story. And you talked about your family being a music family.
Yes.
Could you maybe share a bit about your family? If you wish.
Yes.
It's not a must that you should.
Of course.
If you wish, our listeners would like to know more about you and your family too.
I mean, if you mention the musical background in the family, then you have also to put it in details so that the followers, the listeners can a bit follow what the genre of our music. So we used to sing at home. At my mother's place, we used to have percussion, and we would sing in every evening, and we sing some gospel songs, and then we pray together, and it's the same also back home. I was born in Zambia and grown up in Germany, and there also we used to sing with my siblings and my cousins, So for Africa, it's normal, that you sing, and wherever you are on the field, you are working, you hear people, they're singing. So
Yeah.
And it kept on going, So that's why I mentioned to say music is my identity, because that is something which is in my veins. So I can't deny it.
I see that.
So, and I was also leading the worship in church, the Ansgar Church in Marburg. And I did worship when I was 16 until I was, I think, 30 years old. And so I did quite a lot also in the spiritual world, in, church music. Yeah.
I love the fact that you used to percussion at home with your mother, with your sisters and siblings playing. That is so beautiful. Yeah, you remind me of myself. I grew up in Uganda, where my father used to bring music at home. He had this kind of radio that was made out of wood, and he could put it there, and he puts music, and we as children, our role was to dance. So we could dance. We could dance and then win a drink, win a soda, win a soft drink at the end of it.
Yes.
So I grew up listening to music. I grew up dancing. And then with storytelling, I found myself that all the time we are seated home in the evening with my grandfather, grandmother, siblings. And then this guy starts to tell us stories about the village. Yeah, and we could see stories.
I know those
we go to
stories,
the garden and they tell us stories. And then this is how I really meet myself with wanting to really perform. And your story just reminds me these moments. Yeah.
Yes.
But how was it for you? Did you find it in the community where you lived when you chose to do this as a job, to take this as a profession, music?
Yes.
What was the reaction of your family members, or maybe the people within your community what was their reaction about this?
My family, they are very supportive. Until now, I would say the hero of my music journey is my mother, Charity Lauer. She could give out money to buy equipments for me, to support me in whatsoever. She was there. But I want to tell you one thing is that when you are starting something, you have friends, the friends of your friends, they belong also to your community. And when you start something, it's now time when you get to know the true friends. Why am I saying this? When I started doing music, it was not easy. It was a big challenge. You are always challenged. The people, your close friends whom you think they could render a help to support you. And I was 15 years old, so each one of us, you have dreams. I want to do this. I want to become this and that. And that was the time whereby I expected those people, the close friends, to support me. But it was the way, in a kind of opposite. The people whom you trust and you think help would come from them, they will encourage you to do more and, to focus on what you are doing. They are the people who started now to talk bad things about my music. Talking like, what is this guy doing? And where is this getting him to? And what is this, what he's doing? It was a moment of being disappointed by your own friends. This is when the real revolution, the people who really say they are your friends. Are they really your friends? But I want us to mention this, and I had people, good friends. I told you, Geoffrey Kimani was my teacher, who taught me how to sing, who brought me on stage for the first time. My mother, Charity Lauer. So those are the people I had left, encouraging me that, my son, I love what you do, and keep on focusing on what you are doing. And that was the power that I had. But the people around me in our big circle, they take a distance and they start talking bad things about you. And then afterwards, after they've seen, this guy, now after some years, this guy is improving. Now something is coming out of this guy. They're the first people again to approach you and start telling other people, we are very proud of this guy. We saw how he was growing. We saw how he was growing. We are proud of his music. But there are the same people who used to talk bad things about you. I've gone through this challenge, So it's not an easy road, So it's always full of stones. But I think it's very important to keep on your lane, to focus on what you want to do. Because I say the dream that I had, it was a secret in my heart, a sealed secret in my heart. Only me could see it, and my mother and the other friends, Kiman, they could say, this guy has a potential, and they could see that, we keep on supporting him. But the other people, they could not see the dream that you have, maybe the talent that is behind you and what you are following, they don't see it. So that's why it's always a challenge, and then they will come. You are always confronted with a lot of challenges. So as a musician, for me, because I know what I wanted, and I could just focus and say, this is what I want, and I will focus, and I will remain in my lane here, and I will go.
Wow.
I want to go my way.
I like your courage, because of course the environment we live in, the community we live in, puts a lot into our career, because we see role models and that comes up. who was your role model when at 15? Was it your teacher that taught you how to do this music, or was it your mother, or was it someone else that you looked up and said, like, yeah, I like this because I'm doing this?
Firstly, I would say my mother, because she saw the future of what I was doing. And secondly, I would say my teacher, Geoffrey Kimani. I greet you. I hope you will have a chance to hear to this interview, and I appreciate a lot. And thirdly, I'm grown up with Lucky Dube's music. And when you listen to Lucky Dube's music, the lyrics, oh my goodness, he talks exactly about how life goes. It doesn't matter. You would have people who would criticize you, whether you do good or bad. But if you have something, if you want to become something, keep straight, keep your head high.
Wow.
Do it. Because it is your dream you are dreaming of, and conquer it. Lift your head high. Walk bouncing, in hoping that what I want to do, I'm going to get it. It doesn't matter even if people, they criticize me or people they like or not, because you can't satisfy the whole world.
That's true.
So if you have a dream, you want to become something, don't depend on people who are just there always to criticize you. You can listen to what they're telling you, but it's very important to filter out what they're saying. You listen, you say, okay, what is this person trying to tell me? Okay, can this person sing also? Huh? No. Have you ever tried to sing on a microphone? No. Okay, now, what is this person trying to tell me? You want to disturb me from what I want to become. You want to disturb me from my way. So I sort it out. I move forward again. So it's like falling down, and you after you fall down again, you wake up. You walk forward. So, people cannot be satisfied in this world. So important thing is to focus on that what you want, and you have to give 110% in that what you are doing. Wake up, rehearsal, do exercise. Don't say, oh, today, I will do it tomorrow. No, tomorrow is another day. Today is the day you should wake up and do it.
Wow. I like that. I mean, I see the fact that you mentioned your role models and you talked about Lucky Dube, and that takes me to our next conversation. But I would like to say, our listeners, we are with Oggie in this conversation. We are talking with Oggie, sharing his personal stories and more about his music. And we would like you to join us in the part 2 of this conversation with Oggie, where we shall talk more about his music, the context of the music that he does, and what messages does he put out in his music. So we hope to have you in part 2 of this conversation with Oggie.
Hey, Mr. DJ, play us a song. Not any song, yeah, a reggae song. Hey, Mr. DJ, play us a song now. Not any song, yeah, a reggae song. We're talking about serious reggae business, yeah. We're talking about equal rights and justice, yeah. Hey, Mr. DJ, play us a song. Not any song, yeah, a reggae song. DJ, play us a song. Not any song, yeah, a reggae song. Hey, Mr. DJ, play us a song now. Not any song, yeah, a reggae song. Yeah, Irie. So, my friends, our followers, if you have heard now about Marburg, Marburg is a nice city. You know, Marburg has international students and, all of them, they come to Marburg. Why? Because Marburg is a beautiful, a unique town. I recommend you guys, if you want to come to see Marburg, come. This is where you are going to find Raising Fire Band. This is where we are based in Marburg. And Marburg has a nice history, We have a church, the Elizabeth Church. Do you want to know how old the church is? 800 years. And that's a huge history. So come to Marburg. We will be together here. We can jam at the land. We have a river here. It's really nice. You go there in summer. It's, people, they are moving around. We are dancing and jamming together. So come to Marburg. We have the uptown city, the old city in Marburg, and it was not bombed in the Second World War. It remained. It's really unique. So people, your children, come to Marburg. I'm telling you, you would love it. And if you come to Marburg, if you are a student from America, from Africa, I tell you, at the end of your study, you would rather want to stay in Marburg than going somewhere else, because it's just fine and nice and sweet. Reggae music is where it's coming from. Rising Fire. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Music by Edwin Matovo, hosted and produced by Otako. Subscribe to our podcast for more stories and visit us on our website, hearmytruestory.com, for more stories. All the links are listed in the show notes of this podcast.